Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Edward Soup channel, where I talk about weird topics and hold even weirder objects, as I do not own a shotgun mic. And picture this, okay? Let's say you're a citizen of a corrupt third world country. Yeah, I don't have to imagine that. The Republic of the Philippines, as the name implies, is a republic consisting of the Philippines and not much else. We have had free and fair elections for about 20 years now. So 2004, and the Philippines is a hot mess. To give you some background context, the longtime dictator of the islands, Ferdinand Marcos, had just been ousted after 20 brutal years of slick-backed haircuts. So in 1986, after a peaceful revolution where every single person in the country decided to touch grass and walk to the White House equivalent, Ferdinand was forced to flee to Hawaii and shortly die. But this isn't about him. So in 1986, Corazon Aquino became the new democratically elected president of the Philippines. To illustrate this better to foreign viewers, Aquino was the widow of late opposition leader and national hero Ninoy Aquino, whom we have named the worst airport in existence after. This is basically what it would be like if Jackie Kennedy became president after Jack got shot. Okay, so following Aquino was Fidel Ramos in 1992. And can I just say, I love this election, okay? Fidel Ramos at this point was a long-time army veteran. This guy was a reformer in the military. And his main point was like improving the economy and infrastructure. This guy was basically Eisenhower for the Philippines. And his main opposition wasn't bad. Miriam Defensor Santiago was popular for passing the bar exam. Okay, she was a long-time lawyer and intellectual. She served in all three branches of government. In fact, she garnered fame for being a judge during the martial law era, during Ferdinand Marcos, the dictator, and she was bravely against the regime. Anyways, I'm getting too ahead of myself. I mentioned this election specifically because you get to meet one of our main characters in this story, Joseph Estrada. Mr. Estrada was an action movie star turned mayor of San Juan, Manila. Then, he decided to run for vice president in 1992. And here we see the first of many problems in Philippine elections. You see, in this country, we can vote for both the president and vice president. Meaning, you can be president and vice president despite belonging to two different parties. Why? Okay, so Fidel V. Ramos went on to fix the economy in the 90s. Very boring guy. Why would you fix the economy? Mr. Estrada comes along. This guy is the vice president. He wasn't even Ramos' personal pick. He just somehow won. So he came from a different party, but he still takes credit for the economy. And he says he's pro... you guys see that on my hair? Has that been there for like... Wait, no, just like... This is the problem with fringes. So... He did become president in 1998. And, that booming 90s economy I told you about, that Fidel V. Ramos made... It's gone now. Thank you, Arab. Enter Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, the daughter of Philippine President Justado Macapagal. She was elected as Estrada's vice president, despite, once again, being from different parties. Long story short, Arroyo courted the Senate and the House, and made them impeach Estrada. They impeached Estrada for corruption. This actually makes Estrada the first Asian, not the first Filipino, the first Asian to get impeached. Oi, Philippines! Okay, so Arroyo must really hate corruption then, huh? Arroyo is probably the best Arroyo is probably the best politician that the Philippines has in its history, other than maybe Ferdinand Marcos himself. I'm not saying that they're morally correct or anything. I just mean like they're good at playing the game of politics. They're good career politicians, and I'm not trying to argue that their politics are necessarily correct or like they're in the right. Most of this video's viewers probably don't understand what I'm saying. So just think of Sang-woo from Squid Game. Sang-woo from Squid Game was a menace, but you have to admit he would have won that game if Gi-hun did not have that plot armor. Arroyo then continued Estrada's remaining term from 2001 to 2004, in which he turned what Estrada ruined into basically pre-Estrada levels of the economy. We actually had a good economy during the 2000s, and if you watch any Filipino media from the time period, you can sort of feel it, Okay, the problem with Arroyo was that she was very corrupt. Like Ferdinand Marcos, dictator levels of corrupt. She was on that Park Chung-hee type of corruption. You know what they did to Park Chung-hee in South Korea? Bang, bang, bang. Enter Antonio Trillanes, a Navy officer. He was fed up with Arroyo and chose to end her corruption tyranny once and for... Oh, wait. Yeah, his mutiny failed. Womp womp. Arroyo's reputation never recovered from that army mutiny though. People rallied behind the anti-corruption rebels and didn't really like her. You have to also keep in mind that the Philippines, makadyos tayo eh. We are a nation of God. The Philippines is a very conservative and religious country. In fact, most of Estrada's support came from poor working class conservatives. So seeing a rich aristocratic woman lead, it's just it's just like, if you're conservative, just like ugh. So it should come as a complete surprise that Arroyo chose to run for a second term.
Disyembre 2002, nangako siyang hindi tatakbo sa pagka-presidente para sa halalan ng 2004. Oktubre 2003, inihayag niya ang pagtakbo sa susunod na halalan. 2004, ang kanyang pagkapanalo sa nasabing halalan. 2005, inakusahan siya ng pandaraya sa nagdaang halalan. Siya si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo.
I am with you in peace. We're all in this together. Maraming salamat po.
Enter Fernando Porro Jr., or for short, FPJ, the greatest action movie star of the Philippines and the holy protector of Islam. While not being Muslim himself, he was very popular in Muslim Mindanao because of his actions where he protected Muslims from war and rebellion.
Isang bagay lang nakalimutan mo, Kapitan. Ang tiyaga namin mga Muslim, lalo na sa pagkikipaglaban.
Basically, he was clip farming before clip farming was a thing. FPJ was also the best friend of another action movie star, Joseph Estrada. Enter Old Man Yari. Okay, Estrada, obviously being a previous president, endorsed FPJ for the presidency. So, with an inexperienced but very culturally popular action movie star loved by everyone versus a great, competent, and yet corrupt and controversial incumbent president, this was gonna be a very, very close election. We're talking Filipino equivalent of Bush v. Gore. But first, let's get to know our candidates better. First is Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, incumbent president of the Philippines since 2001. Her greatest accomplishment was giving herself a promotion. Her running mate was independent radio broadcaster Noli de Castro, who is apparently homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic. Oh no. This is basically what if Hillary Clinton chose Rush Limbaugh, of all people, as her running mate. Then Rush Limbaugh decided to host NBC later. That is how weird that is. Second is Fernando Poe Jr., an action movie star who, once again, had zero prior political experience, but somehow got nominated by the second strongest party at the time. He's running on the idea of not being corrupt, and his running mate is Senator Lauren Legarda. Oh wait, I think she's a representative at this point. Lauren Legarda is a woman, and FPJ chose a woman so that woman would vote for him. I just turned the aircon off. Just gonna wait for that thing to kick off because like I am wearing a polo shirt. It is very hot in this country. Finally was spoiler candidate Ping Lacson, and can I just say this guy does like not matter at all. He has been running since the 1990s. The last time he ran was in 2022, the last presidential election as of today. This guy is in a generational losing streak, dude. No! Oh yeah, and he also doesn't have a vice presidential candidate, which is another thing that you can just do in this country for some reason. What the heck? Election day comes and the polls are neck and neck. It's gotten to the point where one region decides the victor for the elections. Muslim Mindanao. Remember that FPJ was very popular in Muslim Mindanao? The results come in from Mindanao, and Arroyo is the winner. She becomes the first president to get a second term since Marcos. Except no. You see, very soon after the results come in, major news sources come in with claims that the exit polling data from Muslim Mindanao shows that it was actually FPJ who won.
You need to leave!
So what gives? Well, a former director of the NBI, the Philippines version of the FBI basically, came out and said that he had wiretapped a conversation where President Arroyo had a conversation with Virgilio Garcilano, an official in the Commission of Elections, and basically just asked him to alter her votes of the digital voting machines and cheat her way into the presidency. The country was outraged. This was the first time a Filipino president had cheated an election, minus the other times where Filipino presidents cheated an election. People were calling for Arroyo to resign. Congress was trying to impeach her, and many more recordings were found. Arroyo had clearly cheated the election, allegedly. Hey, I have to say that I don't want to be sued. One problem. You see, when I said that Arroyo was like the greatest politician in Filipino history at this point? She had a pro-Arroyo Senate. She courted the Senate like a teenage boy trying to get a prom date. Any impeachment proceedings that the House tried to pursue, gone. It really did seem like Arroyo was safe and in the clear. There were already 2 failed impeachment proceedings against her. She was not gonna get close to getting out of the presidency. That was until a third impeachment proceeding hit Arroyo. How was she gonna get out of this one? Well, Arroyo was an amazingly smart person. She got us out of the Great Recession of 2008 for crying out loud. Her classmate in college was Bill Clinton. So what did she do? She used human psychology. Filipinos are very religious people, Catholics especially, and we really love to celebrate Christmas. The Burr months specifically make us very happy people. September to December is our Christmas period. Why? Kasi Pasko na eh. Pasko eh. So, she chose to apologize live on TV, and she did this on December. So basically, the Christmas spirit saved her and swept the issue under the rug. Arroyo continued being president until 2010, and the economy kept on being great. But she was still very unpopular. In the end, Arroyo chose to retire from politics and just kidding, she's still a representative in the House. In fact, I'm pretty sure she became speaker at one point.
I am sorry.